Hello and welcome back to the Hollow Knight All Skills Tournament. This is the 2-1 bracket, I believe. Each of these racers having at least 2 wins under their belt. And I'm Wasabi Knight. This is Emre with me today. We'll be commentating this race starting fairly soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited about this race because I know that Pharest is a really great runner and so is Paum. So this is going to be really good, no matter how it turns out.
Yeah, for sure. Paum, I know earlier was saying that he feels that Pharest has a heavy advantage with almost a minute PB ahead of his right now. Even his unofficial, unsubmitted time. He is quite a bit ahead of that, but you know, anything can happen in these races. Single death to Hornet 2, some mix-ups at the Watcher Knights or Isma skips. There's a few places where this race can go, or this all skills route can go pretty poorly. So anything could happen, and Paum's looking to at least keep it close. I think we'll be able to be doing the countdown fairly soon. You want to do that? Or
I've never done it before.
I mean, I could do it. It's either way. They can count down from 5 or 10. Just instead of 0, just type go. Alright. Looks like Pharest was testing his timer, but I assume that's stream delay. Oh yeah. So we should be watching on the restream just so that we can stay ahead of the loop, so to speak, in the Discord restream, that is. That wasn't clear. Alright. Looks like both our racers are ready.
Great, I'll go ahead and start the countdown then.
Alright. And just so our viewers know, there will be a short delay even after the countdown is done, just because of the delay from streaming and then the restreaming. It's sort of a multi-layered thing going on, so in about 30-40 seconds we should be able to see some regular movement here. Pharest, in the meantime, just doing a few timer tests, I'm pretty sure. So
Looks like they're finally getting set up on their restream.
yeah. Well, the early game I would expect to be quite good from both of these players. I believe both of them have experience in any percent top times in those categories. So long before they even learned this category, already had a very solid early game, and since then have only practiced it more. We'll have a few RNG moments, the Grudge drop, the Balder spit, but hopefully we'll be able to see, outside of those, a pretty close start. And yeah, there will be some delay between the racers here, but we should have our SpeedGaming volunteer able to sync us up quite soon. Hopefully we have our load normalizers set correctly. It is the 4th round of the race, so any trouble with that should be long gone by now. Looks like Paum just barely missed a single jump earlier on. He got slightly worse Vengefly RNG, or at least acted as if he did. Sometimes it's hard to judge just how close the Vengefly is to being pogoable. So he might have just fallen a little bit for safety rather than necessarily having to, but looks like we're all synced up now.
Nice. And yeah, Vengefly Pogo is something that is slightly hardware dependent. So if you have a better PC, the Vengefly will be a little bit faster because of higher FPS. So that's a very small detail that can save you a little bit of time in King's Pass if you're lucky or unlucky.
That's quite interesting. So you're meaning it's faster in terms of after it aggroes.
Yeah, the Vengefly moves faster with higher FPS.
Okay, because I was thinking at first you meant just faster in general, so it would be because they all have a little bit of a float, so to speak. Before an idle animation that moves them around. I thought maybe that was faster and they would drift farther, which wouldn't necessarily be a good thing, but no.
Yeah. I don't think that that's impacted, but yeah, we do get to see a couple of these FPS dependent enemies. I think that the categories that I run tend to be more affected by that. We do get to see a lot of those areas in all skills though. Really interesting category. We get to cover a lot of the map, which is something that any percent runners, there's a lot to learn whenever you're coming from that category. So seeing people who came from any percent start to get into all skills is really cool. Because they, like you were saying, they have these really strong early games, and then the mid game is really what sets apart the top all skills runners.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the meantime, there were a couple of differences in the early game. Both of them got a clean grudge drop, and Palm was a little bit behind upon entering Aspid Arena. But Palm did manage to get the double spike on the Aspids, and Pharest missed it and had a fairly quick cleanup, but that did put Palm at least slightly in the lead. Yeah, just barely, but really a negligible lead, less than a second. But ooh, and Ferris actually misses Statue Pogo at first. Yeah, now a lot more than a second, but an early lead to Palm could easily be mitigated by just some very small mishaps, because small mishaps is all that happened, including the upcoming Balder Spit and even some False Knight jump RNG. Hopefully we'll be able to see the False Knight jump to the left, which above the players' heads, instead of to the right, away from them. Small stuff like that can add up over the course of this race, especially if it ends up being close.
Good RNG from Ferris.
And pretty similar from Paum. Both of them having the exact same amount of GO2, both of them having full HP now. I was almost certain Ferris took a hit. He either healed at some point during the False Knight, or I completely misremembered.
I didn't see. But geo management is going to be really important in this category. So we need to get 800 geo, leading up to an ability called Dash Slash. And yeah, so all of this early game geo management is really important to keep your eye on, because having a little bit of cushion in the early game is going to help out later.
Yeah, it's funny because getting extra geo in Green Path or in Crossroads can help out on a split as far as the exit to King Station way after the Soul Sanctum. And stuff like that makes this category very fun. Some people feel like the geo routing is very tight. Some people feel like it's loose. The main discrepancy is just that between this and other categories is that we don't go to Lem at all. We don't sell any relics, so all of the geo is connected either from geo rocks or from enemies, and that means that it's a little bit I would like to say that the geo is a little loose in this category, not tight, because you can, if you do geo routing differently, you can skip entire rows of hoppers or rows of enemies in the City of Tears. And it looks like they both either got first or second spit. Definitely first spit for Pharest. He also got an extra Balder immediately after. Did you see what happened with Palm?
I think they both got first spit, didn't they? They're only 2
Yeah.
seconds apart right now.
Yeah. It did seem like it was first spit for both of them. But here we'll be seeing them collect 6 hits of soul, at least 6 hits of soul, I should say, to get both a quick kill on the Balder and a fireball skip immediately after. The enemies just lining up pretty well for Ferris. They didn't lose much time while he managed to collect extra soul. Palm getting the standard 6 hits, and Ferris actually picking up, both of them picking up extra hits off of another first Balder spit. So
They
quite
just-
lucky on the Balder RNG.
They just took all of the first spitballed RNG for the entire rest of the tournament.
Yeah, that's gonna be unfortunate for anyone who has to run after them, but it'll be at least good for this race. Paum did miss that fireball skip, so that will lose him about 4 seconds, putting Pharest back in the lead, though again, not a massive one.
Yeah, so the early game movement in Hollow Knight, I mean, there's so many little bitty things that can add up and bleed you time. So failing that first fireball skip isn't a huge deal because Palm can still catch up by the end of Green Path.
Oh, absolutely. They still have the Hornet fight to do, which there's a lot of opportunity for double hits. And Pharest actually did miss that first fireball skip. Just like that, Palm is back ahead by a single second. So, as you said, it can definitely fluctuate a lot. And what's interesting about the early game movement to a lot of people is some people would say it's very slow. It doesn't feel that slow when you're in a run because there's so much to do, but the lack of a dash means that any mistake you make is almost compounded by the fact that there's no way to get back quickly. So stuff like a death in Green Path especially feels very slow to have to walk back all the way through without any sort of movement. Pharest, I would like to say, struggled with that third fireball skip while Palm was able to get it quite easily. Now they're on to the first Moss Knight, trying to double hit it. Palm did manage to get the double hit, meaning he will have saved some soul. Pharest did as well, and that means that they won't have to stress too much and slow down for the soul collection in this room here, where the goal is to leave the room with 8 hits of soul. And yeah, 8 hits or soul or 9 hits, it doesn't matter too much. Just because you can pretty typically get an extra hit on this Moss Knight here right at the start, as both of them did. It looked like both of them got the worst RNG of the Knight being... Oh no,
Yeah, they did.
Pharest did not get he missed a fireball on the later Knight. Started fireballing a bit too early. So you have to do some extra cleanup there.
That was a little bit unfortunate, but at least they got the same RNG.
Yeah, that's true. Just dealt with it differently. Palm waiting slightly longer for that fireball will pay off. Pharest did come in on 3 HP. I wouldn't be too alarmed by that. Every runner who has their share of Hornet experience will know that she's not too dangerous once you have her patterns down.
Picking up the item only 3 seconds apart, it looks like.
Yeah, again, just... Palm was almost 10 seconds ahead, I think, entering the room, but Pharest definitely had a faster Hornet fight there. I definitely saw some doubles from him. Couldn't quite tell with Palm. It's pretty hard to tell the difference between a single and a double hit without audio cues. So perhaps I should switch the audio to Palm since he is slightly in the lead. It has been going back and forth a lot, but... Yeah, without audio cues, single hits and double hits can visually look very similar. I remember when I was first learning the Hollow Knight, somebody mentioned to me, I was like, okay, how do I tell visually whether I got a double hit on the Hollow Knight? They say, don't do that. Listen to the audio cue. It's much cleaner.
You want me to tell a really cursed story? Whenever I first started speedrunning, I used to speedrun with music and no audio.
Oh!
Yeah, audio cues are so important. Please use audio. Love yourself.
Yeah. The audio cues in this game are legendary. But, right now they're moving through Fungal. It's a pretty movement-heavy split. There's only a single enemy, or actually, I guess in all skills, they do farm a couple of mushrooms. There's only 3 enemies that die in this entire split. No boss. Mostly it's just farming soul. At first to get these mushrooms and by the Geo Rocks. And collect some extra Geo, which again is part of the all skills route exclusively. Because of the way they route Geo. And other than that, it's just clearing out a single adult Mantis for Mantis Pogo. And But we have two really cool tricks in the Explosion Pogo and the Mantis Pogo, so maybe you want to break that down for us.
Yeah, so Explosion Pogo, Ferris is coming up to that right now. Basically, you pogo the sport. Wow, goes for the damage tank version.
Is that
Amazing.
the
Palm going for the standard, and unfortunately fails it.
Palm actually does not go for a standard E-Pogo. He intentionally damage tanks this thing.
What?
And yeah, he's absolutely crazy. He's been called out for it a million times. He's tried to change his ways, and it's just not working. Now he's gonna have to go for
Oh
the normie
no.
E-Pogo. The
Wow.
failing 2 intentional damage tanks does mean that, yeah, he just doesn't have the
Oh
HP to do the same
no.
thing again. Even if he were to heal, it wouldn't matter.
This
And
is
now he's
so
having
unfortunate. I'm glad that he finally got it. On the left side though, Ferris did get double dash Mantis Pogo pretty cleanly.
Yeah, he did a. Is that a low percent? No, it can't be low percent because he dashed at the end. But something similar to the low percent E-Pogo, to back up his unfortunate E-Pogos beforehand. Pharest does manage to exit with a sub 10 claw. I didn't quite see where the timer was on that, but Paum will be exiting significantly behind now after several failed E-Pogos.
Yeah, failing Explosion Pogo, I believe, costs about 7 seconds each fail, and that was just really unfortunate chain of events.
Yeah, at least, yeah, there was 2 damage tanks that went wrong, and then one where he just missed the Pogo completely, and a 4, yeah, so it was definitely 4 missed E-Pogos at least. And that definitely added up, as Rixian, our local timer, has timed that out to be a 33-second difference in that split alone.
Ferris moving on to the next boss fight, though. Really quick, easy boss fight, Gru's Mother. Let's see what kind of cleanup he gets, because we have to hit 2 fireballs and clear out the Grezes, hopefully quickly. Nice. Almost really good. Only missed 1.
Oh! That one getting away from him is going to cost him quite a bit of time, though. He missed a few nail swings on that. What I was interested in was actually, I saw him hitting the gate rhythmically. It could be a method. I will try to remember to ask him in the interview. It could be a method of timing when the Gruz babies will come out, because I was going to mention, as you said, it's an easy boss fight. The cleanup is almost the harder part of this section. It's definitely the
Yeah.
hardest part to get clean. Such an RNG heavy thing. Whether the Gruzes float up or sideways is completely random, pretty much. Oh, Palm getting a much cleaner cleanup. So he will be making up a little bit of that time there. What do you think, Em? Have you ever seen somebody use nail swings to time the Gruz babies?
Not the Gruz babies, but I did see, I believe, Jamie jump and do some nail swings to time the platforms at Dream Nail the other day.
Yeah, and I've seen nail swings used to time the swag door. Yeah, or it's not even swag door, because if they get wall cling storage, I think it is faster. For the abyss. So I think it's something like 8 nail swings, they jump to the top and they get wall cling storage. So I have seen nails used for timing, and that was what made me think that was what Ferris was doing. I will remember to ask that. In the meantime, Palm will be showing off the shade skip, which we kind of skipped over for Ferris. It's a pretty simple trick once you have it down. He did get a fireball, which is bad RNG. Slows him down a little bit, but he does manage to make it up there regardless. Definitely the best outcome he could have asked for there.
Palm's just going to be collecting a little bit of Geo here. Because again, we're working towards our 800 Geo, saving up for Dash Slash.
And from what I understand, after grabbing the golden husk, they want to be at least 704 Geo. That's the bare minimum. Anything less than that will mean they have to farm extra hoppers, which is quite the difficult task when you have Primal Aspid shooting at you. So, at this Geo, Pharest is going to be almost certainly fine unless he were to miss several big geos from the Golden Husk here, which I severely doubt he'll do. And Paum was looking about the same situation. He actually does. Yeah, I was gonna say he almost left behind. I really commentator cursed that.
I'm
He
so glad
left,
that he looked at his geo.
he almost left behind 30 whole geo, which would not have been okay. So he does have to slow down to collect that geo that fell into the hallway there, which is really unfortunate. I think in all skills, I don't know why. In all skills, it feels very different. In any percent, I felt like it happened more. Very rarely seems to fall into that crevice in all skills, but he does have to go and get that. Now Pharest will be on his way to farm up those last hoppers for the geo he needs. Paum is able to quit out very quickly by comparison. But yeah, they'll be farming up some geo on the hoppers and then buying Dash Slash, which will be used primarily for some lever skips that we'll see coming up in the Soul Sanctum. Allows us to skip huge bits of RNG in one of the most brutal areas of the game, the Soul Sanctum. Coming in with just Shade Soul and Nail Zero means that either it would be very hard to nail down the Soul Twisters, and using a Shade Soul comes at the cost of slower bosses because soul maintenance throughout that area is very, very important. So being able to skip huge sections with the Dash Slash, very important.
Right, Paum is good on geo now.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to get his Dash Slash and have a little bit left over.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about earlier. Any extra geo here will come in handy for this upcoming split or a few splits later, I should say. Where and he actually,
oh my goodness.
Okay. No, he's intentionally going for the lower route now. But it looked like that, he might have been muscle memorying going to Golden Husk, because I would imagine he pretty typically goes the bottom route if he's going down here at all. So he might have been muscle memorying the Golden Husk split and then realized, no, wait. I'm going to Soul Sanctum now. I'm gonna go through the bottom route.
One of the things that Pharest just did, first of all, he did the backup Spire Pogo instead of the normal Spire Pogo, which was kind of weird, and I just want to point that out. But he also dash slashed the lever for the elevator. That's something that you're probably going to see a little bit, especially from both of these runners being both high-level runners. And that saves a little bit of time, because you're hitting the lever from farther away, so the elevator can start moving as you're approaching it, basically.
Yep. There's a few clever uses of nail arts in this category that don't involve just outright skipping stuff. Cyclone Slash, for example, is used for a lot faster falling in some areas. Almost an alternative to inventory dropping.
I love Pharest. Pharest saved the grub.
You saved it with the Dash Slash, right?
Yes, absolutely blessed.
Yeah, that's something I tried that in a mock race I was doing with a friend, and it's a lot harder than it looks. I could not figure it out. Paum is opting to enter that dark room on 1 HP. I think a lot of runners would have gone to heal on that bench to the left. It does lose 15 seconds or so to heal there, but is Pharest okay? Okay.
Yeah, I think he finally made it to Chainsaw. So yeah. That's probably the largest sequence break used in NMG speedruns, dash slashing to Shade Soul, because it skips Sly's key, Elegant key, fighting an entire mini boss. But really convenient that we can get it this early in this category. And it's definitely the thing that sets apart all skills as a category the most, compared to basically every other Hollow Knight speedrun.
We see Pharest, as Emery said, using those dash slashes to get the elevator moving earlier. Very, yeah, we're gonna have to pay. Yeah, Paum took another heal entering Soul Sanctum, so he is gonna be slightly lower on Soul. Though Pharest actually used 3 Shade Souls on that mini boss there, which is a little unusual. It means he'll be having to collect some extra Soul here. Though actually it looks like he's paused. Maybe we're getting a resync. We'll see as the timer ticks to 150, 60, 57. No. Ooh, no. Yeah, just a skip. Uh, on the videotape, so to speak. Looks like he only took 1 damage, and he did manage to collect up a full jar of soul. Three hits of soul, much more than the 2.5 that you would normally want here for the Soul Master quick kill. Right, if you want to walk us through that, if you're familiar with it.
I'm actually not. That's been found since the last time that I ran this category, so...
Okay. So, the idea of it is to Shade Soul the Soul Master twice, and then ideally he teleports into it again. So getting 3 Shade Soul hits right off the bat. Well, one of the Shade Souls that you shoot to the right hits those soul jars. And that was, he did manage to get the movement correct, but Soul Master gave him terrible RNG, dived on him right away, and he still managed to clean up that fight incredibly quick. So, applause to Pharest there for doing everything right, as far as I could see.
So I guess it still relies on the RNG of hoping that he teleports into getting double hit by the Shade Soul, right?
Yeah. I think the innovation would mainly be just the main innovation being shooting the soul jars off screen, and Paum gets the exact RNG you'd want to see him, and he's going to be able to kill the Soul Master just like that. There we go, getting the
Wow.
perfect attack to follow up. Just 5 Shade Souls and the boss is done, or 5 Shades. Oh, sorry.
5 hits of Shade Soul.
Yeah, or it's more than 5 hits of Shade Soul. It's 4 casts, and it's something like 8 hits with 4 casts, 7 hits with 4 casts.
Okay.
Because only 1 wouldn't double. So yeah, it's a huge damage output for how much soul they have there. Oh, and Paum does manage to kill the Soul Master before he even finishes diving, so a very fast phase 2 as well. I don't believe Pharest was able to accomplish that, so I would not be surprised to see Rixian declaring a slight advantage, or not slight advantage, but a significant time save for Paum here, despite the healing that had to go on before Shade Soul. Oh, never mind. Only 1 second save for Paum compared to Pharest. Yeah, I assume largely due to the healing, but it's pretty rough. Pharest did mention that he was having some troubles with his stream earlier. I do think that it is showing here, unfortunately.
Maybe we
We'll
could
do our
switch
best to...
the audio back to Paum.
Yeah, we could. If this is going to be a persistent issue, would rather keep the audio on the more consistent stream, just whether or not they're ahead, just so that we have some sort of a feedback loop here. I do hope that this works out because, yeah, I'm sure it's not his fault. Internet tends to cut in and out whenever it pleases, often at the most unfortunate moments. Really, I doubt Pharest has needed his internet to be good at all in the past 2 weeks. Probably one of the more important things he's doing, and, well, here it cuts out. That's just our luck. In the meantime, we can talk about what both runners will be doing, which is finishing off that Geo collection. Paum actually, or Pharest actually collecting a bit of extra Geo there, from what I could see. Already had 300 saved up, and yeah, fireballs to kill yet another husk. Unnecessarily, but won't be a huge time loss. I'm sure he had plenty of soul when he got there. Paum now taking the bench. I would like to see him dive to the right side of this, not chandelier, but this skylight. I would like to see him dive the right side of the skylight and kill Nope, he's diving left side. Because if he dived to the right side, he could have guaranteed killed that husk on the way. And just not worried about the husk on the left, which he didn't worry about the husk on the left anyway. But it's all good. He makes it through there with plenty of geo.
At this point, this is pretty much all the geo that they need in the run anyway. They'll need more later, but we'll get that later.
Yeah, the Watcher Knight geo chest is heaven in a handbasket. All the geo you need for the rest of the run. 655 when after with the additional 90 or so that comes from Devouts, we'll pay for multiple stag stations, benches, and other assorted goods. I think that's actually it. It's just 2 stag stations and a bench.
Right, and also this is a relatively newer reroute too, where they no longer buy the Crossroads stag and just go straight from Dirtmouth to the dive entrance of Crystal Peaks. It's really interesting.
Would that? Are you saying that before they would have gotten? No, surely
Yeah,
not. Huh?
yeah. This category used to get Crossroads stag.
Oh,
and-
Crossroads stag. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that you were suggesting that there was a lantern route beforehand, but no.
No. No. See, All Skills is the better category because it doesn't get lantern.
Yeah, yeah. It is really interesting being able to do these dark rooms. It's quite fun to learn them properly. It makes you feel like you really know the game well when you're able to just dash confidently through the dark room without the C dashes, which I believe Pharest does not do the baby C dashes, while Paum if he's learned the plain dash strat, he's only done it recently. He's a big believer.
Speaking of confident movement, though, Crystal Peaks is one of the more interesting sections of Hollow Knight runs, because basically everything in this entire section is Paum going for Pogax, nice.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether or not Pharest is going for it.
Yeah, we unfortunately might miss that.
We're gonna miss it entirely. No idea whether Pogax has happened. I might try to contact some of the tournament organizers and see if there's anything we can do about the stream situation here.
Paum also going for God Pixel and doesn't quite get it, but he does get very close to the cycle. I think he might have just been a little bit off center. But yeah, the movement through these areas is really specific. You want to do the same movement through every single room because it's cycle based. So doing the proper movement is really important. It looks like Paum got pretty much everything the way that it was supposed to be done. See if he goes for Homo Ball. Oh, he went for the dash slash version. Gets it the second try. Doesn't go for damageless, so now Paum is at 2 HP.
Yeah, you really have to be at maximum confidence to go into the D-Dark split with 2 HP. Because there's a lot of places where you can get double hit. I wouldn't be surprised if Paum took a heal somewhere, but it's hard to tell where he'd collect the soul at this point for that. Because the only ideal heal spot coming up is as you save the grub and wait for the... Or as you don't save the grub, depending on whether or not you're a monster. While you're waiting for that gate to come up is the best time to heal, but if you don't have the soul when you get there, it doesn't do you much good.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. There is an enemy that he can farm before the Dark Room.
Yeah. Definitely gonna be slower to heal there, though. But if he's really, really confident with it, he can go in on 2 HP, but that does leave him susceptible to just getting whacked by a Crystal Hunter into spikes or thwacked by by turning. There's these platforms that turn. They have crystals on the bottom. You can get hit by that and then hit into a normal spike, and double damage from that can be pretty. Ooh,
Oh no, that
yeah.
was so good. I just kept my mouth shut. I was being quiet. I'm not gonna curse Palm, and here we are.
Oh
No.
no.
That is a horrible place to take a death because I don't know if you guys noticed, they both took this bench Inspire. They were saving that bench so that they could work back to it later. Oh, what is Palm doing?
I'm just sitting on the bench contemplating life. I assume at this point he would consider the race to be, quote unquote over. I would like to see him continue here. Maybe he's checking up
Yeah.
on the situation with Pharest's stream. Okay, Palm is continuing.
Okay.
Oh,
So he just wanted to reflect on his life choices, I guess.
yeah, the that's rough because it wasn't even a double hit. It was just two mistakes going for the I'm going for a reroute here.
Well, he doesn't have Dream Nail, so he might just go fight Watcher Knights just for fun.
Yeah. Looks like we'll be getting some content here. Some content, so to speak.
I do wonder if Palm actually intends to finish now, but at least he's not leaving us high and dry.
He's doing any percent Watcher Knights with Shade Soul. A slight edit to the fight. He'll find this much friendlier than the typical fights he tries to get while he's going for his, top 10 times. Or actually, True Ending. Would True Ending have Shade Soul here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a True Ending fight. He's a True Ending runner. We have to keep that in mind. He kind of built his fame on the any percent grind, but True Ending has been his home for the last few months. And he's top 3 in that category now, so definitely making a name for himself there. He's just going directly to Lurian without Dream Nail. Questionable choice for sure. Or he just wants the Geo. Definitely, at this rate, he might be going for Isma's tier first. You never know. Apparently.
I wonder if he's just gonna basically do like, I don't know, skip the rest of Crystal Peaks and come back to it later.
I mean, it's going to make for some interesting. It's so funny because you never see this movement, this C dashing out of the Watch Night area until the Isma's tier split. So, in my head, my brain's just going, he's on Isma's tier, he's on Isma's tier. He is going for Isma's tier. Oh my god.
Yeah, we're getting Isma's content. I'm so glad Palm isn't gonna disappoint us. So yeah, there's 3 different skips here. Spike Tunnel skip, he gets it first try cleanly. Spike Tunnel is probably the hardest one of these 3 skips. And then we have to C-dash from under this ledge here. Nice, does the fireball to get rid of the Whorm too. This one is a little bit more precise. Let's see which version he goes for. There's 2 different kinds of acid skips you can do here. You either hit the wall and jump off with the specific timing, or you can do a dash jump, which is where you cancel your C-dash early and dash towards the wall. And it takes that force of your dash and kind of reflects it into extra jump height. We can use that in a lot of different places.
He really waited for that Whorm to come close to him so he could show off this early control too. But it really does mess. I wanna say some other words for this Whorm. But I think speed gaming content's supposed to be relatively family friendly. So
I'm getting the grub too.
The Whorms are extremely cursed in every category they exist in. Emre having one of my favorite emotes on Twitch, the Imagine emote.
Do you ever just imagine?
Do you ever imagine? And, oh man. There it is. There it is. Showing it off in chat. The imagine emote. You ever just
Forms are
imagine?
terrible. Looks like Ferris is on Watcher Nights though. I'm really hoping that
Yeah.
his internet issues clear up soon.
Blue with some cursed knowledge in chat. But you know, I'm thinking Palm's thoughts might be that Crystal Peaks just might be easier with wings. You know?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he'll be able to get back. I mean, he really doesn't have to go that far back if he were to go back to Crystal Peaks right now, because I mean, he would be able to just go straight through the long dark room to get back to the short dark room.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it does make sense to chain them all together. To get
Maybe
some
he's thinking that
practice
that
and
movement would
deepness.
be faster or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he'll decide to get Lantern. The dark room's just too hard. It's definitely a wilder route.
So these Mullerks that Palm's going through right now are partially RNG and partially consistent. The first two, as long as your movement is correct, are consistent. And then all of the other ones after that are RNG. There's a setup to dodge the last one. Please don't die again, Palm. Oh my god, Palm.
Oh man. This is just a rough time. I'll check, but Palm's stream may have stopped as well at this point.
Yeah,
May have a very early DNF.
kind of understandable. That was a pretty rough death in Crystal Peaks that he ended up taking.
It's about as rough as you can get. Yeah, I do think that we're getting a DNF. He was just kind of memeing along to provide us with content, so yeah, do have confirmation this is a DNF from Palm. Unfortunately, that leaves us with not too much to talk about in terms of what's happening visually on screen.
Yeah, with Ferrest's internet problems.
I feel so bad for Emery because this is the first
Okay,
race that she's been able to commentate. The
I've
last
tried
one
to
was canceled.
commentate. I've tried to commentate before and it keeps getting canceled. And now I swear I'm cursed. It's my fault, guys. I'm so sorry. This is why I was being quiet at first. I was like, if I don't talk, Ferrest's internet won't die.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I cannot. I mean, I definitely mentioned something as it got worse, and it just kind of stayed worse. We can try to contact Pharest. As long as he's recording, uh, the broadcast shouldn't matter too much. And if that's the case, we might be wrapping up a little bit early if he's not able to fix his internet. He could always, now that his opponent has left the scene, try to fix his internet in the meantime. And just finish the run. It'd definitely be up to him on how we proceed from here, if he's able to see.
Oh, Fair's stream looks like it's actually.
Oh?
Oh, never mind. It froze as soon as I said words. It looks like it's a little better though.
I mean, yeah, it's moving along. I think our speed gaming volunteer is working on it. But actually, it could be now that I marked Paum as forfeit, it's able to. The restream is just entirely focused on him now. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Because I don't. Yeah.
we're still waiting to see what Ferris wants to do here. I personally hope that Ferris finishes out their end of the race, but would totally understand if they didn't.
Yeah, and now that the stream's better and we have some stuff to go over, I guess we can catch up. I mean, Palm basically showed off what Pharest would have been up to had we been able to see what was going on. Pharest did the Isma skips that we saw Palm doing. He went through the Monarch room where Palm ended up dying, and now he's on his way to Hornet 2, which is considered, excuse me, the toughest fight of this category at least. She's a very quick boss. She can't necessarily combo you, but it can certainly feel like it with how fast she can attack. One slip up and you're out of rhythm, and blink twice and you're at 1 HP. So we're going to be hoping to see a very quick fight from Pharest, though. Double hitting her with the Shade Soul, de-darking her at the right time, can make this fight very fast and indeed very safe if you can get her into this kind of a stagger lock. That is a little bit RNG dependent. If she doesn't want to get into that rhythm, she can just kind of avoid it with a bunch of parries. Hopefully we see some better RNG though for Pharest here.
So far, so good. He's not getting lucky with any double hit setups though.
Yeah, man, he's very lucky that that parry didn't hit him. Shade souling her right next to you. There we go. We got one double hit there.
Yeah,
now
you
I'm
really,
one
you
HP
really
already.
don't want to see. Heck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah,
My god! He just barely avoids getting that last hit of damage on himself by double shade souling.
Well, a lot happened in that fight.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up there. Good lord.
So you really don't want to see a fireball hit a parry because it actually doesn't do damage to her. She actually deflects the spell. He did get kind of unlucky with positioning because double hits with Shade Soul are based on your positioning and distance and things like that. He is going for the nail art early control here. Gets it. Nice.
Yeah, I saw someone else mentioning on a different speed gaming channel that Sylvie has now infamously intentionally gone invisible when he realized he was on the losing end of the race after a very rough series of Hornet fights. And showed off that the invisibility would actually persist all the way until you quit out. So for Pharest here, it'd be all the way until, Cyclone Slash is the next time that the runners would quit out. You could quit out as soon as you sit on Dirtmouth Bench and not lose too much time, but I guess if you're major glitching, you may as well get as much as you can out of it. It doesn't save much time to get slightly earlier control. And it is penalized in this race, or in the tournament, with a 5-second time penalty. And when it comes to getting your run verified on SRC, no luck at all. If you do that glitch even for a second, you're disqualified from the leaderboards. Or just that run won't be verified, to be clear.
I'm just gonna assume that we're gonna get a full run out of Pharest.
Yeah, it's possible also that he's just some runners prefer to run with no outside information, not watching their opponent, not watching or not reading chat, not looking in Discord or anything. All notifications off, just purely focused on the race. So there's a possibility that Pharest doesn't even know what's going on and is racing for his life here.
As far as Ferris knows, he's like neck and neck with Paum right now. That
And
Hornet fight was so close.
yeah. I really, really do wonder where Palm was going with this. How I guess we could assume that he was planning to maybe just quit out as soon as Ferris finished his run if things had gone slightly better.
Yeah, he might have done just some showing off. Maybe
Yeah.
we would have gotten like a lost kin or a field champ out of him.
Oh, that would have been great. I would have. As a true ending runner, is seeing him show off some of these very late game bosses that you don't see in all skills would be great.
Yeah.
But he didn't have Dream Nail, so definitely no lost kin unless he planned on coming back. However,
Yeah.
first we'll be moving on to Umu. We should be seeing a one cycle out of him. Very interestingly, there have been the one cycle was thought to be very tight, needing a very specific setup, but now I've seen 3 different setups for one cycle Umu in the last week. One of them being the very common one, where you go under the platform on the left side. Oh wow, what a really, really sick. I don't know what that room's called. Fog Canyon drop. Really sick Fog Canyon
Sure.
drop from Pharest.
Yeah, interesting cyclone strat. I don't think I've seen that. Getting a little bit of extra soul and falling faster. Because whenever you don't tap your cyclone and you just let it drop you, it falls you almost as fast as inventory dropping, I believe. It's used a lot in current patch runs that can't inventory drop.
Yeah, I've definitely seen Monsta doing that, and that might be something he brought to this category after his 112% grind. Is more cyclone slashes. I know on his stat sheet he's keeping track of how many cyclone slashes each, or not cyclone slashes, nail arts each runner uses, and I'm starting to think that he was doing it just to show off how many he does. Because used at the right time, they are pretty powerful tools that do save. Oh no, he's getting an extra attack here, but there is a consistent. Yeah, from what I understand, there's a consistent backup for this. No, it doesn't look like
that's not it.
Yeah, because you definitely want one of those first 2 Shade Souls. Oh, that's so unlucky. You really don't want to see it. It's about a 1 in 5 chance, from what I understand, that Umu doesn't give you the good RNG and it goes for an extra attack. Second cycle should be pretty free for Pharest. Even going for some nail hits just in case those Shade Souls didn't finish him off.
Still a decent 2 cycle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also, the wall cling storage.
Yeah, very fancy. Very, very fancy. Making it over the lip of that wall. Lip of the wall, I guess. Over the lip of the platforms into that acid is the important part there. I believe falling into the water pretty easily, that stores the wall cling state. So definitely able to show that off. Very cool. Unfortunately, I don't know Pharest's PB that well. Regardless of where his PB is, and we missed so much of his run. It's hard to tell whether he made some large mistakes or missed some time. But regardless of any of that, I know that Pharest has a high 50, and like a 50-51 or something like that.
50-49.
50-49. There we go. Pretty close. I would reckon that 2 cycle Umu puts him out of any PB range that he might have been in. But
Yeah.
I do hope for a strong finish from him. Ooh, left side climb. Let's go. Slightly optimal, I believe.
Yeah, he's probably a couple of minutes behind his PB. Looks like his PB had a 58:51 monomon. Or not 58. I'm blind. Hold on. 38:51.
Yeah, that
That
sounds
was the
more
3 out of
realistic.
5.
Okay. I was gonna say, it sounds a bit slow for someone with a 50-minute time, but we'll take it.
Yeah, he has a 58 monomon in his 50
Uh,
20 something run.
So it's safe to assume the part of the run we missed was not necessarily the cleanest. Um, but that's all right. Still, in any case, seeing a what I guess he would be in a 52 range at that rate. Seeing a 52 in a race setting is still always a sight to see. It's hard to explain just how many small optimizations uh, and big optimizations go into getting a time that low in a race. It's hard for me to imagine that Pharest could die and he could still beat the PBs of 70% of the all skills leaderboard as it currently stands. So
Yeah.
to see a runner of this caliber just play in a setting like this where there's no resets is truly worthwhile. What about you, Emre? Have you ever considered returning to the all skills route now that some interesting innovations have been made since your last visit here?
Uh, I'm not entirely sure. I personally, I mean, I love all skills. It's my home category. I still try to tell people, like, look, if you want to get into Hollow Knight running, especially if you want to run like 1XX, this is the category because it's going to introduce you to basically all of the tech that you'll need, and most of the boss fights that you'll need. But I don't know. I don't think it's for me anymore. It's gotten a
Yeah.
little bit too optimized. Whenever I started running this category, like almost 3 years ago, world record was like a 55 or a 56. Um,
Yeah, Insomnia getting a 5350 was reminiscing at a time where that would have been a world record around the time that he joined this community. And
yeah,
the shift in the leaderboards has been dramatic and terrifying. Sub-hour time used to put you in the upper half of the leaderboard, I believe. And now it's something like 70 out of 108 runners have achieved that sub-hour time. It's getting close to that number, and it surely will be reaching 70 by the end of it. And it's wild to see how much the top half of the leaderboard has improved, but everyone, even from the bottom half of the leaderboard, has really stepped up their game and blown this category out of the water compared to what used to be the standard for it.
I think a lot of it is that our community's grown so much, and with Rando and all these other different things, there's a lot of people who are in the community now bringing in new ideas that we didn't have at the time. Like there weren't the sheer number of people contributing ideas, you know.
Oh yeah, and that was what I was going to say about Umu, the one cycle. They just found Valley was showing off a new version of the one cycle that was designed for current patch with a D-Dark at the beginning of it. And he showed that it is viable and perhaps even less input heavy for 1221 patch. And I know at least one runner who is now getting consistent one cycles where they before were struggling with it. So innovations in this category are still being made, even though it's gotten so optimized. But yeah, it's the Wild West out here. How many new runners we have, how many new strats we have. It's really fantastic. Getting back to Pharest run, he did manage to collect both Great Slash and Howling Wraiths. Both of them relatively calm splits, but now he'll be going all the way from Howling Wraiths to Deep Nest, involving several Dark Rooms and a damage tank here. He did take one hit of damage somewhere along the way, so being put on 3 HP could be a little scary depending on how everything goes from here on out. Taking a damage tank in Deep Nest is not going to be something he really wants to do anyway, but we'll see how consistent he is at the split. went for a cheeky up slash there, trying to collect some extra soul. You
Yeah,
can
I
go for
believe
some
you want to
pogos.
have 6 hits of soul by the end of this.
Ooh, he doesn't care at all about that. Or he just knows to get it somewhere else. He's on 5 hits of soul now. He could just go for an RNG. Oh, nope. Yeah, he's collecting soul off of this Weaverling now. That's interesting. Most people would stop at the those Thornbush guys to collect all their soul, but man, he's just collecting soul everywhere. He's just hitting a moss creep along the way, a Weaverling, a deepling. I think are the small ones that crawl on the ground.
I think so. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, but in any case, he's now at full soul when he came in on 4 hits, so that's something I've not seen before. Very cool. I wonder how much faster it is, or if he's just showing off. Because I can easily understand getting those hits of soul if you're only one short, like just taking any one of those. But coming in missing several hits of soul and then hitting all of them is very different. Awesome.
Yeah. Normally you would D-Dark and then Fireball, I believe. Which he does, so
Yeah.
he just has extra soul.
Yeah, and so one of the optimizations that's been found is if you have 1 hit of extra soul here. Oh, you know what? That's probably he just goes consistently for this. So most runners I know will only go for this if they happen to have extra soul, but he intentionally farms extra soul from everything around him, and we'll see him go to the left and dream nail this devout once, and then kill it with another dive in Shade Soul. Which normally, yeah, you don't need to do, but it is slightly faster than going all the way around to the right if you have one full spell's worth of soul to start out. Oh, he actually dash slashes it? Showing off all kinds of weird stuff. At this point, I reckon he maybe knows that Paum is had forfeit the race.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too.
Yeah, he's taking this bench. He's playing super safe now. And he also probably knows that PB is out of range. Even if he doesn't have his splits up, it's pretty easy to tell at his level when the timer is just several minutes over where you'd want it to be.
He's almost done though. We're going into the last section now. Finally going to the abyss to get the two skills that are down there. The reason I was confused about why he was getting extra souls because there's actually a quit out that's done down here. So he was gonna lose that soul anyway if he didn't use it for anything else.
Yeah. But he definitely did put it to use, though, in a very, very weird way, again, with that dash slash. If you have an extra hit of soul, I don't see why you do that, but maybe he's just showing off. We'll definitely ask him about it in the interview.
Hopefully we'll see a swag door.
Yeah, there's a few variants of this. Oh, yeah, he's going for the wall clink storage. But he's not using, yeah, didn't get it. But yeah, that brings me back to the other thing I need to ask in the interview, which is whether he was using his nail swings to time the Gruz babies. But he doesn't use nail swings there, so part of me makes me doubt that. I don't know. The sibling climb coming up can be a little scary, just because the siblings drift. They all spawn very statically, or in the same exact location each time, but then they drift slightly after you enter the room, and that's what leads to the randomness here. He does damage tank 1, but doesn't really slow him down. You don't really need the HP for anything after this climb, so you can comfortably get onto 1 HP as long as you can get into that doorway, and not too much time will be lost as long as you don't fall, which you did.
Yeah, that was a pretty fantastic climb, I do have to say.
Yeah, going for a small optimization that I've only paid attention to once before, where you dash all the way to the left under this platform and just barely wings up and grab the side of it to leap off of. But yeah, definitely very, very standard, very good. climb from him, and now they're on to collect the last skill of the game, the Abyss Shriek. It is the highest damage spell in the game, the highest damage attack other than a full Pure Nail Cyclone Slash. Yeah, the Abyss Shriek being much easier to get than in the Pure Nail, not requiring any Geo at all.
It's the best spell in the game when it works.
When it works. That's true. And that's what makes this Hollow Knight fight so frustrating is, for the Hollow Knight specifically, it relies on the Hollow Knight staying still and not teleporting or dashing out of your Shriek. And he can do that so many times, they can do that so many times, that it feels like the Abyss Shriek would be even slower than like a true ending fight where you're fighting it with just Shade Soul. We'll surely be seeing him at least go for the Shrieks in the fight, and showing off just how fast the Hollow Knight can go down with the proper damage. But first, he'll have to do the Abyss Climb and climb out of here. One of the more mechanically heavy splits in the game, so maybe we can have Emre commentate over the smaller movements there.
Well, Abyss Climb, actually, it is kind of similar to the Voidheart Climb done in like categories like True Ending and 1XX and things like that. They're gonna try to navigate the room by pogoing spikes and grabbing the sides of platforms, because wall climbing is usually faster than wings. So they're gonna try to pogo as much as they can.
And that's one thing I'm seeing about Pharest, is sometimes he'll fumble, he'll take a bit of damage that he didn't mean to, he'll miss a wall cling or wings, but he'll get right back into the rhythm so quickly. It's like it never even happened. Blink and you just wouldn't even know why he's missing a mask here. He just recovers so quickly. And that's a trait that's very powerful in races, and I assume very powerful in runs as well. Definitely, had Paum been here to finish, he would have been having a hard time keeping up with this pace either way.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that would have been one of the places where I think Paum might have been able to get an edge, just because of Paum's true ending experience.
Yeah, that's true. Though, so many runners who have come into All Skills have joined in on this Abyss Climb IL practice. They created a whole leaderboard just for the Abyss Climb. It looked like he was almost sliding along the floor there, but maybe the cropping is a bit low? Sorry, that just looked a little funny to me. But he is going to come in here. The Shriek will start about 51-20, which means he'll be going for a low 52, I think. Probably going to be ideal. Yeah, I think a 51 is out of the question here, unfortunately. Oh, just barely misses that last hit. Again, we'll be looking for the Hollow Knight to not be dashing around, not be teleporting out of the Shrieks. Oh, it's going well so far. He took a bit of damage. There's a lot of damage tanking in this fight. Oh, it goes for... yeah. He started going for safety. If you ever see a runner go for D-Darks in the fight, it's definitely more of a safety thing. And yeah, being on 1 HP, you can see why.
Yeah, so D-Dark does 88 damage, and Abyss Shriek does 120. So for the same cast of soul, you're getting more value out of your Shriek, so it's usually worth it to damage tank.
Yeah, but when you're on low HP, it's so scary to Shriek and just stand still, because while it's the spell that does the most damage, it also has the drawback of leaving you vulnerable for the most time. And I believe he just skipped. Did he skip the last screen there?
Did he?
I'm fairly certain we only saw the self-stab scream. And then, yeah, directly into that kill. He gave him the bounce attack, which is good for skipping that scream.
Yeah.
So
like
very
it.
solid fight. Other than the the very solid end to the fight, I should say.
Yeah, it's still a really great run from Pharest. GG.
Yeah, I do understand why Paum would not finish the race because, I mean, looking at this end time of 52:39, there's no room for a death to sea peaks and being able to beat that. It's pretty rough race for Paum, but a great show from Pharest in the end. Very glad we were able to see his internet working towards the end of it, and I would say catch most of the crucial bits of his run. So I'll mark him as done, and hopefully we can get him in here for an interview. Paum is still welcome to join as well. I believe he would receive an invite from the forfeit, but I could be wrong. But yeah, hopefully we'll see Pharest in here for an interview. Be sure to ask any questions you have for Pharest in the chat.
Hello.
Hello, welcome Pharest. How you doing?
Um,
How are you feeling about the race there?
um, I'm
Congratulations,
sorry
by the
for
way.
my stream quality. Like, really, I'm really sorry. I just saw everything on Discord, and I'm sorry that you had to commentate my stream that wasn't really good in terms of uh, frame that were dropping and stuff like that. I'm really sorry.
No, you're okay. Actually, it was really convenient how it worked out because before Palm ended, he basically covered everything that you were gonna do anyway. So
Yeah,
you did get to see like the Yzma skips and watchers.
yeah, it really did work out. But I mean, congratulations on the win. You did pull out a pretty swift time with a 52:30. Um, anything you have to say about the race there? Anything we might have missed? And it was mainly from Soul Sanctum to Dream Nail that we missed, or to Watcher Nights, perhaps.
Oh, good, because you missed the worst part of the race. Like, I missed Pogax. I missed I missed everything in Crystal Peak.
Oh no, did you get underplat? That's the important bit.
Yes, I got it with 1
Oh,
HP,
okay.
but I got it.
Absolutely
And
blessed. 1 HP underplat?
yes,
You love to see it.
Wow,
um,
unfortunate that we missed that.
yeah.
um,
But I got some goals, and my sum of best is now under 49. So I'm really happy with that. Got unlucky with that Umu that got an extra attack.
Yeah, that was really unlucky. The setup for realigning Umu into the right place seems frustrating to deal with, especially since, as it is right now, it's hard to practice. It's only a 1 in 5 chance that he ever goes for it.
And I don't really have a proper setup for it. I just try to do like I improvise every time. Should learn the setup for real.
Oh, I see. Speaking of setups, one of the questions I had about the earlier part of the race, saw you doing nail hits rhythmically on after the Gruz fight. You do the Gruz Mother, and then I saw you nail swinging. Is that a timing thing that you use, or is that just to
No,
pass the time? Or okay,
no, it's just to pass time. I just nail the door.
okay. I was wondering if that was a strat, because I'm always eager to learn new strats or new visual cues, audio cues, etc. when it comes to timing. What was the other question that we were wanting to ask him? It was Swagdoor. There's something. Oh yes, your deep nest strats are very interesting. We saw you collect a lot of extra soul, specifically to kill that devout on the way out. Is that your usual method of killing the devout, or were you going for some extra swag because you saw that you had already won the race? Or
Um, I didn't know that I won the race. To be honest, I thought that I was behind and that I was going to lose. So I just tried the swag strat just for fun because I thought I lost anyway. So let's try some swag strat. And then I checked Discord and I learned that, well, I won. But
yeah, that was an interesting turn of events, I guess. But so the dash slash there is a swag strat. That's not normally what you would go for.
no, that's a setup found by Murray. So I tried it.
Angel. Very interesting. I'm glad you were able to show that off, and I'm glad it didn't lead to death or something in the sibling climb, because would have been a little more concerning. But you were able. I mean, you did take a bench afterward,
Yes, yeah.
so.
I don't like entering the abyss with 4 HP because I just do it, and that happens quite a lot. So wanted to be safe.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, Saint Umu and Rando. Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, I was just making sure there weren't any extra questions from chat. Someone asking why there hasn't been an extra attack mod made. I believe someone's working on it. I don't want to call them out because they're a busy person. They've already done a lot of work when it comes to debug and live split, etc. Maybe that's already calling them out. Chances are, if you know anything about what's been going on there, you already know who it is. But it doesn't look like chat has any further questions. Anything from you, Emre, that you would want to comment on the race or ask Pharest here?
No, I think we're good. It was a pretty straightforward race. Ferris had a good run, what we could see. So GG on that win. Definitely deserved, even though unfortunately Paum had that unfortunate death in Crystal Peaks that led to him forfeiting. But otherwise, a good race for the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely very back and forth between the two of you. It was like one person would miss a fireball and they would take a lead, and then Baldur Spit RNG was the same, Grudge Drop RNG was the same. Palm managed to get the double spike. It was a great race early on. So I thank you for finishing up and being a generous opponent, I guess you could say. No one else has any questions, I think we'll be able to wrap up the episode and free up the channel for someone else to come along. Alright, well, thank you again to Ferris, to Palm, to Emre for commentating with me.
Thank you for commentating, and thanks Paum for coming for the race.
We
And
might be.
sorry for what happened.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But we might be seeing everyone in 3 hours or so for Dudex Cubed and Dynamite. I'll definitely be in the chat. Some of my friends are commentating that as well. Looks like it's gonna be a good race. So hopefully we'll see everyone on chat around in the future races.